All right, now that we have covered the primary functionality of the TP motor class, we're going to take just a moment and put together the skeleton of the class. So really just kind of an overview of what the methods are going to be. We're not going to be putting in the base functionality at this point, though.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Project View under our scripts folder. We're going to right-click, hit Create C# script, give it a sec to create a new script, go ahead and tell it to reload the project, and we'll have our new behavior script over here. I can go ahead and hit F2 over here to rename it. We'll name it TP Motor. Hit Enter, double-click on it to open it up, rename it in here as well. Again, TP Motor. Take just a minute to go through and clean up our class. Get rid of some of the comments that we're not going to need. Move our parentheses over.
Bring down the curly braces.
Now, we had a couple of methods that we had discussed in the previous video. One of them being awake, and because we don't have start, I'm going to just rename start with awake. We also talked about not using update in this one because we want to specifically tell the motor when to update. So instead of using update, which would get called automatically, we're going to change this to update motor.
Right, which will be called by TP controller.
Now, we have two additional methods. I'm going to go ahead while I'm working on methods, just go ahead and throw in their prototypes as well. And the first one is going to be process motion. Put in the curly braces for it, and the last one will be void snap align character with camera. Throw in some curly braces for it. Now, we also have a couple of fields and a property that we have to add. So I'm going to come up here and we'll put in the static field first.
There you go.
Which is going to be public static.
That'll be our instance.
And yep, it's going to hold of type TP motor, and we're going to call it instance. We're not going to assign it anything yet. We're also going to make a public float, and we're going to call this move speed. We're also going to assign it a default value of 10. This will, once all the calculations are done, equate to 10 meters per second. Now we need to make our property, which is going to be public. It is going to be of type vector3. This will be our move vector that we've been talking about so much. And I'm going to set up its getter and setter.
So now we finally have that move vector that we can use to take in the inputs and convert it over to motion.
And I'm going to do a couple more real quick skeleton type stuff to get this thing rolling. The first is assign instance. So I'm going to tell instance to equal this. This will actually assign it to be an instance of this class when it gets created when our program or our game actually runs.
Right, and since that's really all it's awake doing, we can go ahead and just take care of that here. Now, are we going to go ahead and leave it here and worry about functionality in the next video? I mean, we technically have our method skeleton in place.
Right. Well, what I'm going to do is set up update motor. There will be no functionality in these two functions, but I know that update
but you know
motors,
you're going to be calling them? All right, makes sense.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just take these methods, copy and paste them so I don't have to type them, and just paste them inside of here. So when update motor gets called, it would call these two methods as I point to the screen, but they have no functionality inside of them, so they're really not going to do anything.
Right.
But this is the base skeleton of our TP motor class, which was the goal of this video. And in the next video, we'll come back and we'll finish fleshing out these methods.
We'll take a look at functionality next. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks for watching.